Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupak Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I express my gratitude for inviting me for Bhagavatam class again. We are going to speak today on Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, fourth chapter, entitled The Process of Creation, verse number 8. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman Harer Adbhuta Karmanaha Durvi Bhavyam Iva Bhati. Please go down, please. Sanskrit. I read Sanskrit. Nunam
Yes.
Bhagavato Brahman Harer Adbhuta Karmanaha Durvi Bhavyam Iva Bhati Kavibhishchapi Cheshtitam. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman Harer Adbhuta Karmanaha Durvibhavyam Iva Bhati Kavibhishchapi Cheshtitam. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman Harer Adbhuta Karmanaha Durvibhavyam Iva Bhati Kavibhishchapi Cheshtitam. Word to word translation. Nunam, still insufficient. Bhagavataha, of the personality of Godhead. Brahman, O learned Brahmana. Harehe, of the Lord. Adbhuta, wonderful. Karmanaha, the activities, one who acts. Durvibhavyam, inconceivable. Iva, like that. Abhati, appears. Kavibihi, even by the highest learned people. Cha, also. Api, in spite of. Cheshtitam, being endeavored for. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activity of the Lord are all wonderful, and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. Purport: the acts of Supreme Lord in the creation of just this one universe appear inconceivably wonderful, and there are innumerable universes, and all of them aggregated together are known as the created material world. And this part of his creation is only a fractional portion of the complete creation. The material world stands as a part only. Ekam shena sthito jagat. Supposing that the material world is a display of one part of his energy, then the remaining three parts consist of Vaikunta Jagat, or spiritual world, described in the Bhagavad Gita as Madhama or Sanatan Dhama, or the eternal world. We have marked the previous work. We have marked in the previous verse that he creates and again he winds up the creation. This action is applicable only in the material world because the greater part of this creation, namely the spiritual world or the Vaikuntha world, is neither created nor annihilated. Otherwise, the Vaikuntha Dham would not have been called eternal. The Lord exists with his Dham, or in another words, with his eternal name, qualities, pastimes, entourage, and personality, which are all a display of his different energies and expansions. The Lord is called Anadi, or having no creator, and Adi, or the origin of all creation. We think in our own imperfect way that the Lord is also created, but the Vedanta informs us that he is not created. Rather, everything else is created by him. Narayanaha paro avyaktat. Therefore, for the common man, these are all very wonderful matters of consideration. Even for great scholars, they are inconceivable. And thus, such scholars present theories contradictory to one another. Even for the insignificant part of his creation, this particular universe, they have no complete information as to how far this limited space extends or how many stars or planets are there on the different conditions of those innumerable planets. So I stop here. I'll go to the last paragraph, which begins with Maharaj Parikshit. So you can display if you like. The last paragraph begins with Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit statement regarding the working of the creative energy of the Lord discloses that he knew everything of the process of creation. Why then did he ask Shukadev Goswami for such information? Maharaj Parikshit, being a great emperor, a descendant of the Pandavas, and a great devotee of the Lord, was quite able to know considerably about the creation of the Lord, of the world. But that much knowledge was not sufficient. He said, therefore, that even greatly learned scholars fail to know about that, even after great effort. The Lord is unlimited, and his activities are also unfathomed. With the limited source of knowledge and with imperfect senses, any living being, up to the standard of Brahmaji, the highest perfect living being within the universe, can never imagine knowing about the unlimited. We can know something about the unlimited when it is explained by the unlimited, as has been done by the Lord himself in the unique statements of Bhagavad Gita. And it also can be known to a certain extent from the realized soul, like Shukdev Goswami, who learnt it from Vyasadeva, a disciple of Narada, and thus the perfect knowledge can descend by the chain of disciplic succession only, and not by any form of experimental knowledge, old or modern. Thank you. You can remove the display. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Hare Krishna. So this particular canto is beginning to describe about the creation, which is a very pertinent question asked by Maharaj Parikshit, that he wanted to know the glories of the Lord and his creation. And he also mentions here very interestingly that The person who creates unlimited creation, material and spiritual, he has unlimited pastimes. And these pastimes are inconceivable, even by the greatest souls like Lord Brahma. With all unlimited efforts also, it is very difficult to understand and fathom the glories of the Lord. So, in the first paragraph that I read, it is mentioned that the creation of the Lord is of two types. One is the material creation, where repeated birth and death takes place, where old age, disease also prevail, where things are temporary and things are changing also at the same time. They are going to be destroyed at one point of time. And there is another creation called spiritual creation, or Vaikuntha, or the Shashwata Dham, or the eternal world, where there is no creation of that Dham again and again, no destruction or annihilation, and no birth and death takes place there. Everybody who goes there is eternal. And as mentioned in many parts of Vedas and also mentioned by Prabhupada here, that apparently, it cannot be said perfectly and statistically, but apparently the material creation is also unlimited and the spiritual creation is also unlimited. But for the gross understanding, Srila Prabhupada explains that the material creation, although appears to be unlimited, it is 1/4 of the total creation. And the remaining 3/4, 3 parts of the 4 parts, 75% is spiritual creation, which means there is large part of the creation is spiritual and very small part of creation is material. And even that part, which is actually very small compared to the spiritual permanent creation, still the temporary creation appears to be unlimited. Even the scientists have researched and they are also coming to an understanding that the material creation has unlimited galaxies, unlimited stars, unlimited planets in the space, which is yet to be explored. And they're not even understood what is a moon. They only gone to some planet. So we have to understand that the spiritual creation remains permanently there and it is unlimited. Vaikuntha planets are there in the spiritual creation. Lord Brahma, when he was enlightened by Sri Krishna at the time of his birth, Tene Brahmaridaya Adi Kavaye. The Adi Kavi is Brahma. Kavi means a learned, or Kavi also means poet. Kavi means also a realized soul. Adi Kavaye means the original poet or original learned personality, realized soul. And he describes the spiritual world, the last verse of Brahma Samhita, where he says that in the spiritual world, every atom of dust is Chintamani, is wish-fulfilling gem. Every cow is Kamadhenu, a wish-fulfilling cow. Every tree is Kalpa Vriksha, is a wish-fulfilling tree. Every step is a dance. Every gate is a dance. Every word is a song. The flute is a constant companion. And there are only loving devotees of the Lord of variety of types. They exist in the spiritual world. There is no envy. There is no competition, selfish on the selfish platform. There is only dedication and focus on the Lord. There is love, there is service, there is wonderful exchange of loving sentiments. There are pastimes, loving pastimes the Lord has with these devotees. The devotees perform wonderful pastimes with the Lord. There is no hankering There is no material lust. There is no selfishness. There is no false ego. There is only real ego that I am the servant of the Lord. In Vaikuntha, it may be only servitude. In Dwarka, Ayodhya, and Mathura, it is very specified servitude. But in Vrindavan, Goloka, it is only predominantly exhibited by Madhurya, the love between the gopis, the love between Krishna and his friends, Gopalas, love between him and the cows, and love between him and peacock, and all the living entities who have taken divine forms to exhibit their unique form of love for the Lord. And this love that is exhibited in the spiritual world is fully satisfying. There is no, uh, there is a continued thirst to relish more and more, but there is no frustration because of hankering and thirst and hunger for this enjoyment. Everybody is drowning in the spiritual joy, at the same time always thirsty for more spiritual joy. Something like, contradiction. You get spiritual joy which satisfies you completely, and still you want more and more and more. In the material world here, you get something, some experience of joy, but you lose it immediately. In spiritual world, you don't lose it. You have it still, and you want more. In the material world, you have it, you lose it, you hanker for it, you lose it, and you then cry for it, and again try something, you get something, again you lose it. It's all flickering fraction of the real joy that you're looking for. So it's an illusion. It's an experience of some joy that you want, but not exactly what you want. Because we are eternal living entities and we need eternal happiness. We cannot be happy when we get some temporary, short-term, short-living happiness. But in spiritual world, we get that happiness, which fulfills our very existence, very being. But the Lord's arrangement is such that He is unlimited and He gives us unlimited joy there. So there's a movie. It used to be a movie in my childhood where there is a song which says, "Oh brother, come, I will take you to the world. I will take you to the eternal world in the sky, where there is no sorrow, there is no tear, there are no tears, there is no sorrow. Only happiness lives, happiness exists over there. And there is no hankering, there is no lamentation, there is no frustration, there are no negative emotions. Oh, come, brother, I will take you to that world." It's a very beautiful song. And the reason, one more reason to say the song is beautiful, although it happens in the movie, that has saved one life of one great devotee who was about to commit suicide by going under a moving train in Mumbai. And in Mumbai, there's a tradition or a culture that whatever happens, whatever good functions are there, they put a loudspeaker and they play many songs. And you can understand is the loudspeaker is going on, that means some festival is going on somewhere. Somebody is having some celebration at home. So it may be called as noise also. But when he was crossing the railway track, these lines of the song came on his ears. Oh brother, please come to the world. There is no sorrow, there is no tears. And he was having some frustration in life, which prompted him to go to try to commit suicide under the train. And he stopped and he thought, oh, maybe there is a world where there is happiness, no sorrow, no tears. So he did not commit suicide. And he thought, I will search for that place. He prayed to the Lord, please show me that place. And within 1 or 2 months, he found himself in Radha Gopinath Mandir ISKCON Chowpatty. And today he is almost 80 years old, a very senior spiritual counselor in the congregation, very senior, advanced, sincere devotee of the Lord. Although physically he has not attained that place where there is happiness and no sorrow, but the glimpse of that place, ISKCON temples of Prabhupada, which is the window to the spiritual world, which gives you an experience of spiritual world while you are in the material world, in the cycles of birth and death, in the perishing world. You still get a glimpse of the spiritual world. As Prabhupada said, my temples are windows to the spiritual world. At another point, he said, my temples are Vaikuntha. People mitigate their miseries. People lose their miseries. People become happy. People get engaged in service to the Lord. People associate with sincere, loving devotees of the Lord. People share their heart with loving devotees and they feel free from all anxiety, pain, sufferings, and there will be no more tears. So, if some materialistic poet also has an imagination, he has no realization, or neither he is a devotee of Sri Krishna or Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because each and every living entity is the part and parcel of the Lord, what is happening is there is a connection between us and the Lord. And deep within the heart, in subconscious mind, there is an understanding that there is a home where I belong to and where there is no pain. Otherwise, the imagination cannot come. One interesting point which I would like to tell all of you, that the imagination that we have, the capacity of imagination, is also within the realm of reality. You cannot imagine something which is not existing in reality. Even the dreams that we get, the events, the similar events have taken place somewhere in the world or in our past lives or somewhere, some part of the world. But the soul, or you and me, even in conditioned state or realized state, cannot imagine something which is not existing in the creation. So the materialistic poet, although not realized, but he has an imagination which has told, imagination has told him that there can be a world where there is no sorrow, there's only happiness, there's only love, there's no tears, there's no pain, there's no birth and death. This imagination comes only because such place exists somewhere. And when we connect to the parampara or the disciplic succession, then the knowledge of these particular place or these particular places, Vaikunthas, come alive in front of us. And then we understand, oh, what I imagined in the wildest of my imagination, what I dreamt in my wildest imagination, actually is the truth. Now we have to search for that place. So Brahmaji is explaining over here that what we are talking about is our world where we are existing. That too, our earth. And to large extent, we talk about our country or some known areas. And amongst the hundreds of countries, we may know few, 50 countries. So even our planet, we do not know fully. Even our country, we do not know fully. What to speak of the 7 heavenly planets above us? Not to speak of, say, 6 lower planets below us. Not to speak of 27 hells which are below us. These are only, we are reading about it. We don't know. We just come to know by reading. But our brain, at the best of its capacity, even fully realized state, can never fathom any creation of the Lord in perfection. Not even one unit of the unlimited creation. The unlimited planets and Brahmandas which are existing in the material world, one of them also can't be understood by us. Such is the vast, unlimited nature of the creation of the Lord. It is also mentioned that the material world is like a gunny sack or a big bag of, maybe you can imagine, 100 kilos of mustard seeds. And if you and me are told, please count the number of mustard seeds in this bag. Huh? Maybe this lifetime will be over, but we will not be able to count the number of mustard seeds. And that's only one bag. And there are hundreds of bags like this in their truck. And that's coming from only one field, or one farmer's area, land. And there's unlimited land like this in Uttar Pradesh, in India, which grow mustard seeds. And there are hundreds and thousands and millions of bags like this filled with mustard seeds, which are distributed all over India for cooking. So imagine if you cannot count one bag, what to speak of counting every single mustard seed in the creation, or only in India, or only in Uttar Pradesh state of India. Such things are true about the creation also. The material creation is also explained as the number of mustard seeds that exist in a big bag, 100 kilos of bag. And they are also explained to be unlimited. And they all exist in the body of Mahavishnu. And they are created in the seed form. Then they mature. And then Brahmanda is formed. And then each Brahmanda, one Brahma is formed by one Vishnu, which is also expansion of the Supreme Vishnu, Mahavishnu. So this knowledge comes from scriptures. Even though you get this knowledge from scriptures or Srimad Bhagavatam or in the further verses of this chapter, still realizing them in true sense is impossible. We can just get an idea. It's like if I ask any one of you, how much money do you have? None of you will be able to tell me how much money you have. You need to go back and see how much liquid cash you have, how much money is in bank, how much is in investment, how much is in fluid currency, how much is debt, how much is due to come to you because you have lended somebody money. You go to the richest man in the world today, in this earthly planet, and ask him, what is your wealth? It is the market value is there, but that's not the real value. Nobody can tell. An individual tiny soul, he's so-called rich person in the world, also cannot tell how much wealth he has got. What to speak of all the wealth collected in this whole earth planet? Impossible to find out. And what to speak about wealth of Indra, wealth of Brahma, wealth of all the demigods, wealth of Kubera, wealth of all the other demigods, wealth of Varuna, very rich demigod. And this is a tiny mustard seed in the bag of mustard seeds, 100 kilos. And this is supposed to be a very small, tiny universe where Brahma has only 4 heads. Please understand, he is the greatest of living being, the most Adi Kavi, most realized, superfine citizen of the universe, first citizen. And he has 4 heads. We feel, oh, 4 heads. But he has only 4 heads. Because knowledge tells us from Vedas that there are Brahmas of millions of heads. And we only conceive of 4 directions, primary. And there are millions of primary directions in different universes. So it is simply impossible. So the greatest realized person, Brahma, when he went to meet Krishna in Dwarka on earthly planet, in our earth, he was asked by the doorkeeper. Doorkeeper informed Lord Dwarkadish that somebody called Brahma has come. So Lord Krishna gave a message, ask him, which Brahma are you? So the Brahma, so Brahma at the gate, he thought, what do you mean by this? I'm the only Brahma in the whole creation. How can there be another Brahma? Is there another Brahma? In the meantime, he was let in. So Brahma with 4 heads. So he was let in. As soon as he went in, Krishna remembered and invited all the other Brahmas. And in front of the eyes of our 4-headed Brahma, 10-headed, 1,000-headed, 100-headed, millions of head on the shoulder, looking very beautiful, not looking ugly. If I were to have now 2 heads, how odd I will look. But they were looking very beautiful. And such unlimited number of Brahmas with unlimitedly increasing number of heads on their shoulder, they were coming one after another. They were all bowing down to Krishna. And this Brahma also was bowing down to Krishna. And what happened to him was, he felt himself a very tiny and insignificant creature in the assembly of these giant Brahmas. So all his pride of being the first citizen of the universe, the most realized soul of this universe, the father and grandfather and great grandfather of all the created living beings, all that was smashed down to a tiny existence, insignificant. He didn't even feel that he existed among them. He had any significant existence or presence. So he was very humbled. And then everybody asked all the other unlimited Brahmas, "Oh my Lord, is there any order for us?" "No, no, I just wanted to see you, so I called you. Please go back and do your duties. Good luck, goodbye." And everybody left, and this Brahma also left. So this is the situation. This is the situation, reality situation. We are so insignificant. Our Brahma, who actually has been empowered by the Lord, and by the empowerment, he has created all of us, all the human beings, all the devatas, all the insects, all the birds, all the fishes, all the mammals, all kinds of living entities, 84 lakhs of species of life. In each species, there are unlimited number of living entities, not even one looking like each other. Being a human being, you are being, I'm human being. Well, you look so different, I look so different. From this part of country, that part of country, that part of the world, this part of the world. There is no similarity, although there is all are similar. Such a great personality. He is brought down to a feeling of being insignificant. And that too, not in front of the Lord, in front of all the other Brahmas who belong to other universes, And they all are also feeling insignificant in front of the Supreme Lord whom they are visiting. And they are bowing down because all of them are created by the Lord in a similar way. They were all bewildered and Krishna enlightened them and they created in their own universes, their own living beings, their types of living beings as per the divine plan and order of the Lord. So then, where do you and me stand? What is our position? If Brahma is a tiny, insignificant living entity in front of the whole reality of the existence, what are we? Today, I look like some person in this room. But you go beyond, de-zooming, de-zooming, de-zooming. From the moon, if you see, I will not be able to see now. My whole planet will be seen as a rounded material in the space. Where am I? There's some videos come on WhatsApp always. You de-zoom, 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 and you go on de-zooming and you find yourself only a round existence. And then you go on zooming, then you come to Earth, then you come to the India, then you come to Bombay, then you come to this area and small house, and then you exist. And then you go inside your body and zoom, then you see the nucleus of the cell. Then you see the internal parts of the electron, proton, and Golgi apparatus, and mitochondrial mitochondria, and so many other parts of your cell and the nucleus. And there's also a big world inside the nucleus of the cell of the body. So there's a tiny, minute, subtle world inside you, and you are also part of the world outside, which is also unlimited. So this is mysterious. This is completely bewildering. But still, we have to understand that we belong to the divine majesty of the Lord. We belong there. So, if the next paragraph which I read, which tells us exactly what to do, because this kind of complicated description is only bewildering, and we feel whatever we know is also completely forgotten, and we are completely bewildered and confused. Now I don't know what I know. Now what I know is very confusing, and what I know I have forgotten in front of the complicated description which is given. Now this is not the feeling of you and me. Even Lord Brahma has the same feeling. Please understand. When he, in his ignorance or in illusion, he tested the Lord by stealing the calves and the cowherd boys. and he wanted to see the fun. And what happened was completely shattering his so-called superfine, highly developed intelligence in stored in four brains, in four heads. It's completely blanked, completely appearing like not existing. And then he came to a realization, what I am testing is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What a fool I am. I am trying to test the Supreme Lord, who is so unlimited. I'll tell you only one part of all the parts that Lord showed him. Lord first multiplied himself into calves and the coward boys, all of them as they were. They were in millions of numbers. And then in front of the eyes of Lord Brahma, Sri Krishna converted all the cows, baby cows, and all the coward boys into four-armed Vishnu, the master of Vaikuntha. Each one of them were like one of the master of one Vaikuntha. And to add the more bewilderment, there was a set of 33 crore demigods headed by Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Parvati Devi, Saraswati Devi, Lakshmi Devi, Varuna, Chandra, Indra, and all kinds of demigods. A set of 33 crores, that is 330 million, 3.3 billion demigods worshipping each one of that Vishnu. And there were millions of such Vishnus next to Krishna. And there were millions of such sets of demigods worshipping each Vishnu by praises, by giving gifts, by chanting hymns, verses, glorifying him. All divine exhibition. And suddenly, after some time, watching this most bewildering, wonderful display of the Lord's energies, all of them disappeared. And what remained was a small boy, 5-year-old boy, having some butter, and yogurt and some rice in his hand, searching for the lost coward boys and lost calves. At that time, Lord Brahma understood that this is Supreme Lord. And he fell at his feet. And what is his statement? He spoke 40 very beautiful verses. And one of the verses says that the more I come to know about you, what I know is I don't know anything about it. That is something very deep. I know and you know, and all of us know something. But the more we know about the Lord, actually we come to know that we don't know anything about him. That is the biggest and precious realization, that the Lord is so unlimited. And as I go further in knowing about him, learning about him, I only come to know that what I know is an insignificant part of the unlimited existence of the Lord. And that is something about his physical being or presence. There is an item called his pastimes, Leela, his activities. And Brahma says, I cannot fathom the limit of the activities and pastimes and the glories of the pastimes of the Lord. One more story I will tell you. How the activities of the Lord are unlimited. Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. The Lord is unlimited. The Lord's pastimes are unlimited. In Mahabharata, there's one story that the snakes, all the snakes were born out of Kadru Devi. Kadru Devi is the wife of Kashyap Muni. And he had many wives. One of the other wife was the mother of Garuda. They were all sisters, but they also became co-wives. So Kadru Devi gave birth to all the snakes. The first son was Ananta Shesha. And the next one was Vasuki. And then many more powerful snakes. And what happened was, in one incident, they displeased their mother. So mother cursed them that you will all get destroyed because you are disobeying my desire. So the Ananta Shesha, the being first son of the Lord, of the mother Kadru, of course, he is incarnation of Balram, but he also is performing a role. So he went to Vishnu and told, I don't want to be part of this curse because my all brothers are snakes and they are going to be evil and vicious, and why should I participate with them, identifying with them? I want to get freed from this curse. So the Lord told him that you go um, below the last loka of this Brahmanda. In other words, you go below the last planet in the whole existing universe, one unit of universe where you have taken birth as Ananta Shesha. You go below that. That means under the 14th planet. And you carry the universe, all the 14 planetary systems on your head. By doing this service, by holding the universe in place, making it steady, by serving the universe and me like this, you will be freed from the curse of your mother. And there's one condition. Anantashesha asked, how long should I hold? Please listen carefully. Anantashesha asked, I will do this service to get freed from the curse of my mother of getting destroyed. But my dear Lord, how long should I hold this universe on my head? The Lord said, you start describing about my pastimes, start glorifying me and my activities. When they will end, you can put the universe down. So what happened? Anantashesha had 1,000 mouths, 1,000 hoods. And with his 1,000 mouths, he started describing the glories and the pastimes of the Lord. It is said that half the life of this universe, Pratham Parardha, 50 years of Brahma's life are already over. Dvitiya Parardha, the second half of the life of Brahma, second 50 years of life of Brahma have just begun. And in this such a long period, I mean, I don't want to go into the calculation, but it is trillions of years. 3 trillion, 11 billion years is the life of Brahma. And something like 1.5 trillion years already are over of only this universe, of this Brahma. And something like 1.6 trillions of years are yet to be coming forward in the remaining life of Brahma. But 1.6 trillion years are already over of this universe. And it is said that Ananta Shesha has just begun glorifying the Lord. He's just begun. What to speak of ending it? So what does that mean? That means Ananta Shesha has to hold the universe on his head for eternal time. It looks like eternally he has to hold. Because the Lord's pastimes are eternal. So that way Ananta Shesha is still under the Patala Loka, the last planet, and still holding the universe and is still glorifying. But each mouth is glorifying the unlimited pastime to the Lord. And Ananta Shesha is a great personality. He's not ordinary personality. He is Sakshat Balram, incarnate. Aishwarya, the opulence personified of Balram, is Ananta Shesha. The Madhurya aspect is Balram. Aishwarya part of Balram is Ananta Shesha, who exhibits the glory, the opulence of Lord Balram, of creativity, of holding power, power of creation. Everything is exhibited by Ananta Shesha. So let's come to the last part of the story. Then what is our hope of understanding the Lord? Prabhupada makes a very beautiful statement in the purport. He says that the scientist can never tell you the extent of the material universe because they are limited people. They are bound people. They have limited intelligence, which is subject to the influence of time, place, and circumstances. The intelligence is not unaffected by time, place, and circumstances. So they can never tell you the reality. In other words, the unlimited creation of the unlimited personality cannot be explained to us by a limited person. The second line, Prabhupada says, the unlimited creation of the Lord, who is unlimited, can be made to understand to us by him only, who is unlimited. So the unlimited creation can be explained to us by the unlimited person only. And this is the what you call steady existence. What about pastimes? They are unlimited also. And we don't have that unlimited person next to us to explain. Arjuna had the fortune of having the unlimited personality standing next to him and explaining to him, I am that unlimited personality. I am that Paramatma. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But we don't have. So how do we expect ourselves to understand? We expect ourselves to understand from the disciplic succession, which begins from the unlimited personality. The unlimited personality has revealed himself to the first living entity whose realized soul, Brahma, then Narada, then Vyasadev to the remaining acharyas. And down the line, the same knowledge is carried down to us by disciplic succession. Evam parampara praptam. Imam Rajarshiyo Vidhu. This is the way everybody understood. And even though we hear from the unlimited Supreme Personality of Godhead through the disciplic succession, still it is difficult to understand the unlimited pastimes of the Lord. So what is the hope? We have attached ourselves to a bona fide sampradaya. We are hearing the word of God through the mouth of disciplic succession, the realized souls, the chain of realized souls, chain of Guru and Shishyas. We need to offer ourselves at the feet of the Lord in total surrender. When we will perform loving devotional service to the devotees in the bona fide succession of Guru and disciples, then the Lord will reveal to us by his own sweet will what he can reveal to us. It is said that when one focuses oneself at the feet of the Lord, surrenders himself at the feet of the Lord, offers himself at the feet of the Lord completely, full surrender, and offers loving devotional service, prema bhakti, then the Lord chooses to become under control of that devotee. The supreme unlimited being, who is not being able to be captured by anybody, he chooses to be captured by his pure devotee. And then the pure devotee, because of Lord choosing to be captured by him, knows everything about the Lord. But still, out of humility, that person under whose control the Lord has come, out of humility, he will say, I don't know him, he is unlimited. But why we are fortunate? Because we have been connected to a bona fide disciplic succession of spiritual masters, which is finally connected to Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he has given all knowledge to Brahma. Brahma is given to his disciple, and it's coming to us as it is. If we listen to it with submissive oral reception, then we may have the access to the unlimited glory of the Lord. It's like still our experience will be like you go to the vast ocean, salt ocean, and you take one bottle of water and drink it. Then what do you come to know? The qualitative understanding of the ocean. But the quantitative understanding of the ocean will never understand. How many fishes are there? How many octopus is there? How many whales are there? How many submarines are there? How many Jalada Navlakshani? How 900,000 species of aquatic life is there? And each species, how many living entities are living in the ocean? That we'll never understand. What we can at the most understand in reality is the qualitative understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The nature of Supreme Personality of Godhead and some of the pastimes which he will choose to reveal to us, we will come to know. Even those are unlimited, what he chooses to reveal to us. So this is the glory of our spiritual life. By the same time, at the best of all our situations in spiritual life, we still have only a partial understanding of the oceanic pastimes of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Thank you very much. Is there any questions?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful deliberation of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Dear devotees, if anyone has a question or comment, please, you may indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question. So, Prabhuji, you're looking so bright. When I first saw you, I did not have a tilak on. I did not have my chadar. I said, oh my God. I saw you. I felt like I have to at least look like a devotee. So, and then I remembered, it says a devotee is one whom, whenever you see him, you feel like doing something devotional. So thank you for helping me appear like a devotee.
Hey.
So as we last, please give me unmute.
Hare Krishna. It's great,
Hare Krishna.
Dr. Vishwarupdas.
Hare Krishna. Welcome.
Thank you very much for today's lectures. It's very enlightening. In fact, listening to you today, I've just been taken aback. I was just thinking about way back in high school when we were prefects and we were given our own dormitories. So we felt like the school is even hailing us. When they will sound the siren for everybody to wake up and prefect to still sleeping because you are in your own cubicle. When it's time for going to the dining hall, we will be late because we know prefect, they reserve our food. And just listen to you talking about the stories of Lord Brahma getting puffed up and then finally finding himself being the tiniest among the assembled of all Brahmas. I was just thinking like, it means they were even puffed up more than Lord Brahma in those days. But by the message of Srila Prabhupada, I think we are getting to be in knowledge, so we are trying to
What is the question?
Corrections. So the question is, how can a devotee in the mood of exhibiting or maybe performing his devotional service not confuse himself with being, let me use the word interchangeably, you not confusing yourself with adopting to your or attracting to yourself inferiority complex and then be insignificant. These two words, no, because you are now beginning to understand certain things. So how will a devotee live his life such that he will not confuse himself with being or attracting himself to being an inferior person, to being insignificant? So if you can throw more light on
not
this.
to get confused, to be on the path of truth, to get only right understanding, one should live a very pure life, which means Prabhupada has given us 4 principles. We should follow the 4 principles and try to become as pure as possible in our life, in our eating habits, in our behavior, in our activities. And then we should engage ourselves in chanting the holy name and serving the Vaishnavas and our spiritual master in the proper bona fide disciplic succession. When we engage ourselves in service to the pure devotee of the Lord, when we engage ourselves in doing service to devotees and spiritual master, then we will not get bewildered. Then we'll be saved from getting bewildered, and we'll only get, if at all, whatever little we get bona fide knowledge. But when we subject our ears to anybody and anybody on earth, like scientists who are doing blind researches, or worldly people who talk about the world and enjoyments, and then also we listen to the sadhus, then there'll be a surety of getting confused. So devotee means he gives up all the unwanted association, and a Vaishnava Sangha Tyaga Ei Vaishnavachar. A Vaishnava. A Vaishnava means who non-devotee. Avoiding the association of non-devotees is the behavior of a Vaishnava. So when he avoids the association of non-devotees and only associate with devotees, then there will be no bewilderment, no confusion, no slip-offs, no fall-downs. He will always be on the path of upliftment and purification. Okay?
Right.
Hare Krishna. So,
Hare
Ganga
Krishna.
Prasad
Thank you,
Prabhuji,
Prabhu.
thank you. Hari
Thank
Bol.
you so much.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes. Ganga Prasad Prabhu, please, if you are mute.
Unmute, please, unmute.
No, you're still muted. Okay,
Hare
good.
Krishna.
Haan.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Visharu Prabhu Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam, Pranam. Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you for your darshan and for the powerful lecture. I need some therapy from you. And that therapy is related to what Prabhu Sahadev had mentioned in the beginning of his own comment, and also the last question. By my knowledge of you, you are both a medical doctor, a purohit, an author, and a very good preacher. How do you develop these traits? That's the therapy I want to get.
Well,
I asked of him,
with you, to be honest with you,
Bhaktivedanta Hospital.
to be honest
I
with
asked
you,
of you,
as you're asking questions sincerely, I want to be honest with you. The only thing I can tell you is focus on the purpose of life. If we are focused on what we want to do in life, then all the mercy that is required flows through our insignificant existence also. If one is engaged in serving devotees and the serving spiritual master, and one is dedicated to the process of chanting the holy name of the Lord, then all that is most wonderful, inconceivable can happen in your life. All that is most bewildering, as far as I am concerned or anybody is concerned, will happen. Mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langayate girim. A dumb person will be able to speak eloquent poetry, and the lame person can climb the mountain of Himalayas. Yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam. This is the miracle that can take place when one surrenders one life to his Guru and the service of devotees. Then unbelievable, inconceivable things can manifest through the insignificant living entity like ourselves. As far as I am concerned, I love Krishna's pastimes, Lord's pastimes of variety of incarnations, Jagannath, Krishna, or Narasimha, or Rama. And I love being immersed in studying those pastimes, hearing those pastimes all the time. There is not a single hour or single half day or full day which is gone, which goes without hearing the beautiful pastimes of the Lord. Either I am resting or I am hearing. Even while bathing, brushing, or eating prasad, or traveling, I am constantly hearing the pastimes of the Lord. And that makes our life very, very rich, very, very enlightened, and keeps us on the path of purification and progress.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
The secret of all secrets, I can tell you. The secret of all secrets is serving Vaishnavas. When we serve the Vaishnavas, the Lord becomes very pleased with us. And when He is pleased with us, He bestows upon us all His mercy.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
I asked after you in Bhaktivedanta Hospital, they said you were gone to the Himalayas for maybe 40-something days. And why I wanted to see you was you had an unfinished arrangement with Prabhu Sahadev.
Ganga Prasad, you got muted. Please unmute. Okay, good.
What did you say about Himalayas? I didn't understand.
Some interference is there, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you now. Okay, Prabhuji, he was saying that he asked of you.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, if I may repeat what you were saying, he was saying that he was asking of you from the Bhaktivedanta Hospital.
Uh-huh.
And he was told that you had gone to the Himalaya.
Okay.
Yes, you're going to spend like 40 days or so. But his question is, I actually plan to speak to you about it, about the Srila Prabhupada box.
Gadgets.
The Srila Prabhupada box that contains all his lectures, everything. I was in touch with the devotee, you referred him to me. And at some point I wasn't hearing from him anymore, but we are still very much interested in getting the box.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'll get in touch with him. I'll get in touch with him and put him in touch with you. Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
I tried, I wasn't getting in touch, but there are lots of devotees who are very much interested in at least getting a copy.
Okay, I will.
Yes.
You're the unit, the sound unit.
Yes.
Okay. So next person
Thank
is
you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So Kushi Ganchi can ask question.
Yes, Kushi Ganchi, please, you may unmute. You are muted, please unmute. Okay, good.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I had one question, which you said a story of Sheshnath, that he's still glorifying Lord.
Yes.
By holding the Patal Lok. So to whom is glorifying basically? Is there more Jiva over there? Or
Again, repeat your question.
I'm asking the question is, you said the story that
I understood that.
Still holding
last line. Last line again.
So who is glorifying basically?
He's glorifying the Supreme
Lord
Personality of
name.
Godhead, Sri Krishna.
Okay, directly.
Directly, yes.
Oh. And I have one more question that you said it is a story of Brahmaji. He was the cow of Krishna's that was the story which was it was
that is called
33
Brahma
set
Samohan
of
Lila.
God were
That
there
is Brahma Samohan Lila. That is from 10th canto, 14th chapter. Brahma stealing the calves and the coward boys. That is there in 10th canto.
Okay. And Prabhuji, I have one more question. You said the imagination. Imagination is out of our control. Okay, because we are overthinker person. So we overthink a lot related to negativity, positivity. So exactly how to.
Your line is breaking. Yeah, your line is
unable to understand anything.
Gunchi Mataji, your line was breaking. I don't know if one thing you may try to do is you may turn off your camera and just speak. That might help. Gunchi. Well,
hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Your video off and only be audio.
Okay.
All right.
Speak now.
Yeah, you may go ahead and speak.
No, she has poor communication, poor coverage,
poor connection.
Yeah. Okay.
I have one quick question, and that is, we have different religions, and all these different religions talk about how great God is, but they actually do not know much about how great God is. we have.
Hmm.
So what is the reason why when we tell them about the greatness of Krishna, they refuse to accept? What do you think is the reason? Because as you were sharing about some of the amazing, great adventures that Krishna performed, it's just so sweet to hear about the greatness of God. Yet when you share this greatness of Krishna with these different religious people, they refuse to accept that this is God. What is the reason?
The
Hare Krishna.
original reason is the reason for this. The original reason because of which we have been here, we have come here, is envy. And all of us also have the trace of envy in us. Although we put tilak and we chant holy name, we pose to be devotees, but still we also have subtle envy for the Lord and for his devotees overall in us. And to the degree we have that envy, we fail to accept the glory of the Lord. We can't tolerate the glory of the Lord, especially when it is coming in competition with us. If your wife and my wife, suppose my wife glorifies me, I love it. If my wife glorifies the Lord more than me, I start feeling envious of the Lord. If my wife starts glorifying Guru Maharaj or some other devotee more than me, in front of me, then I feel jealous. I feel intolerant. So it may be difficult to understand, how can I be like this? But this is a fact. I've experienced this in my own life also. And the same reason is there, although we pose to be devotees and aspirants and sadhakas, still to the degree of our envy, we fail to appreciate the glory of the Lord. Unless and until one gets completely free from all gross and subtle envy, we will not be able to appreciate the glory of the Lord. And that's also a very fair, very logical, because only when there is freedom from envy and when there is love, then actually you can appreciate the glory of any person, what to speak of the Lord. Even you and me, about you and me, if anything has to be appreciated, there has to be no envy and there has to be love. Then the real glory is revealed. Otherwise, Lord has no business to reveal his glories to anybody who is envious. Why should he? Why should he? Unless somebody loves, see, I will love to hear about you if I love you. If I don't love you, you don't have any relation with you, however glorious you may be and however glorious activities you may be doing, I'm not interested in hearing. So even to appreciate anybody's activities or pastimes or glories, there has to be some loving connection. And that is not there, only philosophical understanding is there, then the glories will not be revealed. And then there'll be lack of acceptance. So the philosophers have philosophical understanding. Oh, Lord is so great, Lord is so great. But there is lack of loving element of love. When the element of love is there, then the glory starts getting revealed. So in one word, the answer is envy. And even the answer is difficult to be accepted by those people. If you tell them you are not accepting because you are envious, is unacceptable answer. So that much of concealing of that much the Lord's glories are concealed to those who are envious. We have to remove the curtain of envy. Then only the real picture will be revealed to us.
Yeah.
So
Thank you so much for the answer. Anyone else with any question? It seems Kush Genchi still has question, but I don't know if her connection is much better now.
Difficult connection. Yes, still has question. Yeah.
Kush Genchi,
You can
you may
ask. You can
try.
ask. You can
Yeah,
ask.
go ahead.
You can ask.
Sorry, I'm disturbing too much to you all. Sorry, Prabhuji.
No, it's not.
Yeah, my same related to overthinking, negative thoughts. So how to control that?
As I told in the previous answer to one devotee, that one has to live life of purity, chant the holy name, serve the Vaishnavas. Then all the negativities will go. Only positivity will shine. The formula is eternally applicable. The formula given by Prabhupada is eternally applicable. life after life, universes after universes, till our existence, or in this life or next life. The same principles will be applicable. So why to wait for the next life? In this lifetime itself, we should adopt the formula with full dedication, with full sincerity. Then all the negativities will go away. In the meantime, when you're in the process, keep connection with one senior devotee and keep reporting to him the status, the current status of your life. Take guidance, take advice, and you will, I'm sure that why negativities have to come in your life. You will ask yourself, what is their role? There's no role, no place, no space for them. You will come to that stage. The reason why we have this question and why we go through the situation, because our chanting is not dedicated. Our chanting is not as the most priority in our life. It is number 10th priority. Make chanting the holy name as first priority, as prime activity, the prime time of the day, the first thing in the morning. Then you will see everything will depart. All that is unwanted will be departing from your life. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Thank you so
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
much.
You are
I
from
just want-
Africa or from India?
I'm from India and I'm from Mumbai itself, and I know you, Prabhuji. I recently saw your Mira Road Bhakti Vedant Rath Yatra, and it was so amazing to see that. And I'm under the association of your the devotee Rasasthali Mataji from Mira Road itself.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Nice to know that.
so she is my mother. I can.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, and all I pray. Prabhuji, please pray for me for devotion, as I've heard you should pray to Vaishnav. So it's a humble request to you. Please do pray for me so I
I
may
offer
go
my
ahead in
heartfelt prayers
devotion.
for you. I heartfelt prayers to Radharani for your spiritual advancement and for your dedicated chanting, loving service to Vaishnavas.
Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much. And I recently joined Menti group.
Okay. You can send your mobile number on the chat. I will note it down.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Hari Bol.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
here now.
Prabhuji, one quick question. We are told, we also read from the scriptures that in the spiritual world, in Krishna Loka, there are three principal kingdoms: Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwaraka. And Krishna transported them to this earth planet.
Which planet?
And it is said that they are like the facsimile. That's how Srila Prabhupada describes it, as facsimile of the original abode in the spiritual world. Now, we understand when Krishna left, his city, Dwaraka, was destroyed. But today we still have Dwaraka. Is that the case? If we still have Dwaraka, does that make it different from the Dwaraka Krishna established, or is still the same?
No,
I know
it is not the
is still
same. The
not the
original
same.
Dwarka,
Okay.
original
Okay.
Dwarka is under the ocean.
Under the ocean.
What we
Okay.
see is the replica representation
Okay.
of
Okay.
that Dwarka.
Okay.
Original Dwarka is under the ocean and was covered by the ocean. It was made by claiming the land from ocean. When Krishna left, the ocean reclaimed it, and the Dwarka is under the ocean, and some parts of the Dwarka under the ocean was found out by scientists and some cameras and satellite cameras.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what we see today is the symbolic representation. Where
Okay.
some of the pastimes have taken place, but not full Dwarka.
Not full Dwaraka.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
We have been there. We have been there. We have taken yatra.
Oh, I've not been there. Pray for me.
I've been there. I have taken yatra with 300 devotees one time.
Wow.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dear devotees, we were going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to our
Also give darshan. Also give darshan to all.
Yes, if you can turn on your cameras also, please, you may do that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
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 Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha,
Vivasundivya Sivasya Patitanam Pavishnubhyo Vaishnavyo Namo
Patitanam
Namo.
Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai, all glories to His grace,
Thank you.
Vishwarupdas.
Thank you so
Jai.
much. Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Jai. Thank you for the
Haribol.
class, Prabhu.
Thank
Hare
you so
Krishna.
much. Haribol.
Hare Krishna.